Hello there and welcome to my review for Soulash 2. In this video, I want to give you a answer to the question, is this game really that good? Is the early access worth my time? And how much is in the box? And will I like it or not? I'll try my best to give you a couple of answers to these questions. I want to get started as per usual with my reviews. What's in the box here? So, this game is a sandbox roguelike with persistent worlds. So you're creating your world, that's the one that I have here. It's the largest currently possible settings. And you then create a character, like my friend Zorg Sleesdirk here, a goblin who's trying to build a couple of cities in his life. Because that's what you can do. This game features exploration of locations. Here you see these are adventure sites that you can go into, and you can there find treasures, monsters, death, you name it. You also have the ability, like I said, to build your own cities. Every tile out there can just be claimed as a new settlement, and then you can go all in and go for a city builder simulation if you want to. Every one of these cities out there, those are all not cities icon, this one for example, have their own economies, and every building that the AI cities have, you can have in your own city. So all in all, you have a roguelike adventuring combat system, you have a city building system, but you also have a classless character building system. So all of these skills that the game features can be added onto your character to your own liking. There are no limitations, no character classes that would hinder you to pick up something. You can do everything you would want to do. There is only one limitation. There is a potential in every character, which limits how much skill points in total you can invest on all those different trees. This boils down to you have to focus on a couple of skills that you want to learn, and you can't learn everything completely. But on the bright side, 10 levels on every skill are for free, so you have really something to grind through. And as your character grows older, he grows wiser, and there's more potential for more skills. So this game really goes all into a full-on life simulation. You have a skill system, like I said, that not only gives you everything, gives you freedom in choosing what you want to, every skill out there can also be adapted and changed. So for example, currently I'm fighting with a spear, and all the skills that I've learned before have unlocked amplifiers for my skills. So my axe fighting experiences can now be put into a skill or an amplifier for my spear skill as well. This is a really interesting system that I'm going to talk about a little bit deeper. And to all round it up, you also have a big, deep crafting system. Basically, all items in game that you can find can also be crafted, with a few exceptions. But all in all, you can craft pretty much everything. Also, magical artifacts and whatever you want to. So that's pretty much that. And to top it all off, you can also have children and play your own children afterwards. And in a very short period of time, knowing that the very active dev will patch it in soon, there will be also the ability for us to wage war between our self-built faction and the rest of this filthy world. So this is really fun. You can do a lot of different things. Like I said, it's a very sandboxy game experience. The warfare isn't implemented yet while I'm recording this. So let's talk about good things out there and bad things out there, but I want to get started with the good things. So the fun part about this game is that you're very free. Every single tile out there can be entered, and then you can roam around and pick up your stuff. There's a desert, so we'll find sand there. You can make glass out of that. You will also find cacti there. You might also find monsters there. There's not only encounters on these sites that have guaranteed encounters. Sometimes you just meet baddies out there, and then you have to run for your life or something like that. The skill system is not only interesting to play around with, it is also fun. Combining things together really made me do very interesting things. Combining axe fighting and mace fighting, for example, gives you the ability to be an armor breaking monster that at the same time keeps disabling the enemy from using any of their special skills. You are quite vulnerable from range attacks still, so there is always sort of a balance, but due to the fact that everything that you learn can be combined in some way, you have a lot of build diversity. You can weave magical amplifiers into melee amplifiers. You can weave ranged amplifiers into magical amplifiers. There's a lot of freedom there. So that really, really is impressive, as it gives me always something to fiddle around with and some sort of an idea what I want to try out with my next character. So, the other good thing that I like about this game is it implements a full-on life experience. You have to eat, you have to drink, you have to... You, you can bake your own bread if you want to, or you can cook your own stew, or you can build a city and have citizens do that for you. The whole world is explorable, every single tile is claimable, and if you like what you see, you can just stay there. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's really something that stands out in the whole genre for me personally. The other thing that I really like to say about this game is that the whole locations, like this attacked caravan here, they're all really well made. These are all handcrafted, non-procedurally generated encounters that are always full of challenge and visual storytelling often. That's really cool. I really like that because, in a procedurally generated world, these bits and bobs of really handcrafted content, they stand out and give you wonderful little experiences where you can bash your face in. So for example, here we have a caravan that has been raided by bandits. So we can now decide for ourselves if we want to join on in or not, or is it the caravan that has been raided by wild animals. I don't want to go deeper into that right now, but know that there is a lot of fun in these encounters. Every tile that you explore has something that you can gather there. So for example, here we found some sunflower seeds that we can use for something. Everything you find out there is useful for something, which is quite fun. Well, almost all of the things. A few things stood out, but it's really few and few there and there. The crafting system is also very fun and worth talking about, because every item out there can be made out of various different materials. So for example, our sandals can be made out of any type of leather. Every type of leather brings certain benefits with it. So snake leather gives you ignition resistance. Buckskin gives you an acid resistance. So they are very exclusive leathers. So if you make yourself a couple of sandals out of, were lion fur or something like that, this would be much, much stronger than anything else. So the power of the items is basically defined by the amount of material slots on them and what kind of stuff you push into the slots, topped off with a magic ingredient system, which also allows you then to put all manner of different beast bloods and other magical trinkets on your item to give them different other bonuses. This results in a very, very free system that allows you to build items the way you want to. So for example, my spear here has been made with a copper ingot and 2 pieces of wood, because the other fun part is, if you are good at crafting, you can start replacing the parts of your current gear with other pieces of gear if you have the proper workshop, and so on and so forth. The crafting system is really cool in that regard, because it basically reflects in a very, very fun way that the better materials you have, the more powerful your kite shield in that example here would be. That's really, really fun. And you also, like I said, can build cities. Building is a whole part of the skill tree. Let me show you real quick. So there's a construction skill that reflects all the items that you can construct, and the better you get, the more things you can build, and well, that's that. When you build things in a settlement that you own, you can then assign them certain jobs. So, for example, to build a field, you need to have a house for the farmers, and then you need to plant down a field, and you can declare that as a field. So, building is also functional, or you can just roam around and go, for example, like I did it here, for your little tiny mini hideout that you just build to drop off your loot. So the structure, for example, I built there myself. The game also has a Z-axis, so you can build upwards and downwards, so that brings in quite a lot of options if you're into that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, What's bad about it? It's always interesting to ask that. The controls are an acquired taste. You might have already noticed this sight cone around me. Well, you can turn your character around himself by pressing E and Q, like you're strafing around around your axis. Mind you that this is also a action, so it takes time. This means that ambushing entities in this game can be played pretty fluently. It also means that you need to get used to the fact that the facing of your character is always something you need to bear bear in mind into your calculations. This ends up in a completely different play style feeling than I ever had before. I think Unreal Life was the only roguelike that gave me a similar feeling. And, well, my verdict is I like it for Soulash. Would I want it in all the other roguelikes? No. This game does make a lot of work with it. I find it at times a little bit uncomfortable to play like that, but that is only because I'm used to 360 degree vision in all the other games, which is basically cheating. This game puts you back into the feet of a mortal being, and you basically don't have eyes in your back. Deal with it, bro. The only thing that I really don't like about it currently is that your character is completely forgetting what was behind him, so you don't get a visual indicator. If you were able to see somebody a moment before and then you turn away, it's gone. It would be nice if the user interface would reflect some sort of a memory of the things behind you, and then it would be excellent. But altogether, this is a part of the control scheme where I can't see. Yeah, you gotta get into that, and all the other controls around the game, the combat and how you select units and these things. Sometimes I feel like they're a little bit clunky, but they're very functional, and it's easy to get into that. So it's a minor complaint. The bigger complaint of mine that I have is that the game lacks currently a little bit of late game goals. This is high in the works, I know that, but in the current version while I'm recording this video, there are extreme difficulty locations as the highest rung of the ladder, and then there's not much more that you can do with the character. Don't get me wrong, beating all extreme locations in this game is an achievement that I didn't do yet. Like 50% of them that are in the game I already did, but all in all, I would really appreciate if the late game, the full version of the game, would have some crazy goals like Soulash 1 had, like killing all the gods of the world, or, I don't know, something funky. I would even go for a hunt for the amulet of Yendor. I wouldn't mind that either. So, that boils down to another little thing, or no, that the other things, no. The next things don't have anything to do with my previous complaint. So inventory management can be at times a little bit tedious. This game has a lot of different items, and managing them in your settlements can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming, especially since you have just so many items. And I personally feel like the user interface doesn't really give you the best tools yet. It's something that can be improved on, and I really think that it might be even solved by modders eventually. I don't know. But inventory management could be a little bit improved upon. There's no sort items button. Your settlement inventories are a little bit cluttery. Your crafting inventories can sometimes be a little bit of a pain to manage. All these little things boil down to a bit of inconvenience, but it's nothing game-breaking. The other thing that I didn't like personally was armor. How it works in this game. You see, you have body, torso, arms and legs as areas, and every time somebody whacks you, there's a roll which one of your body areas gets hit, and then all of the different armor values apply. I find that very, very complicated because it makes it really hard to get yourself a gear up that is an all-rounder. I think this is absolutely intended by the developer, and I respect his decision, but I gotta say, due to the fact that I never know what body part is getting hit, I focused into a high value of physical all over the board, and all the other elemental resistances, they come or go as they do. And it did lead, for me personally, to the exact opposite of what I would have liked to do with this game, namely specializing my gear into certain situations. But due to the fact that I have to craft a gear for my entire character to be better defended against acid, because I don't know if that acid monster will hit my head, my arms, or my legs. I need to protect everything. And yeah. That's my personally systemic, my biggest gripe with the game. But in all honesty, if you're just maxing out physical resistance all over the board, with that setup, I bet I was able to beat down 50% of the most extreme encounters in the game. So it is playable like that. Don't get me wrong. I just like to use the tools that I see. Now, that is all. I don't have anything more to mutter about the game. I was very thorough with my complaints. The summary: it is one of the sandboxiest roguelikes that I've ever seen ever since I played Alona. And I'm happy that it is not nearly half as wacky as Alona. It is a dark fantasy sandbox game where you can play all manner of different races. You know, those goblins are not the only one. And there's a lot of real substance there. There's an entire world to play with. And all the gameplay elements that the game offers are fun to use. The combat is cool. It's really, really cool. I love using all those skills. The stamina system and exhaustion system boils into a very interesting system, which is different from other games. You can't get some people don't like it, but I personally do. And the crafting I enjoyed a lot. The character building system is really cool as there's so much to combine with and so much to experiment. This is, yeah, I gotta say that the parts of the game come well together. There are games that have many parts, but they don't interact well with each other. Kepler's, for example, was a game where I felt exactly that. This one, Soulash, on the other hand, I feel like the components are very, very well glued together. So the skill system, like I said, allowed me to do some really, really cool builds, and it provokes me to build things that are unfair, that just lock down the enemy and to take any enjoyment of the extreme encounters away because they turn too easy because I built something that annihilated the enemy. It is fun, seriously. You enjoy that if you may, if you did that with your own brain. That all being said, there's also already a lot of content in the current version of the game. I complained about the lack of late game things, but I gotta say, build a city, conquer all the locations that are currently in the game, and then you will surely had 20 to 30 games of hours of gameplay experience if you didn't blast yourself into oblivion. You don't need to play it, by the way, in permadeath. The game also allows you to play with a revival on death mode, and therefore it's enjoyable for all audiences. So, my verdict, it's a really, really cool game. The only downside, you gotta get into these controls a little bit, and it ain't done yet. That is something that I'm very, very sad about. It could be already done if it would be, if I would be the one to choose, but in all seriousness, this game is getting updated very, very regularly. The developer is very active, and it's only a matter of time until we can finally go into war into all these factions. I'm very, very much looking forward to that. I will do a new review once this game is completed, of course, but I hope this will help you out, and if you are asking yourself if Soulash 2 is worth your time. So, thanks for watching, you all, and have a good day. Bye bye.